following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
We are back. A's baseball, past, present, and future. Both the co-hosts are here at the same time. Nancy Finley
here
and Jerry Feitelberg.
Hi, Nancy. Hi, Ralph.
Hey.
Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah to you, Ralph.
Well, Happy Hanukkah to you and to all our, I like to say, Happy Rockefeller.
Hanukkah, does you get gifts every day for like 12 days?
Well,
sure.
12, 15, you can give gifts. If you're Jewish, you can give a Jew boy a gift 365 days a year. You don't have to wait for Hanukkah.
I always liked that.
Yeah, I guess waking up and seeing yourself in the mirror is the gift, huh, Ralph?
Just waking up is the gift. Seeing yourself in the mirror is not exactly a gift at 72 years old.
Oh,
I got to tell you.
Ralph, did you share with Jerry the picture I sent?
I've shared pictures with Jerry, and I trust that you and Jerry have email communication of your own.
I don't have.
No, we'll have to get our emails.
Yes.
Okay. That would be terrific, and we all three can communicate that way.
Because
Ralph, you can message us. Send it to me in an instant message or whatever on Facebook.
I will.
Or
it'll be instantly, as a matter of fact. We'll make it a message that includes an adverb.
Well, it was from my visit to the new O'Doul's on Fisherman's Wharf.
That's the one.
You've been there.
You've gladly send that out. Tell us about that. What was
Have both of you been there?
No, not yet. Have you been to the new lefties? Hello?
Pardon me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Have you been to... Hello? Can you hear me?
We're all here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good.
We can hear you, Jerry.
I can hear you. I can hear
you
too.
I went there last Friday. I wasn't able to make the grand opening, so I went there last Friday.
Oh, okay.
And, oh, my.
A bunch of old white guys drinking and talking baseball.
No.
That's the way it used to be when Lefty O'Doul's was in San Francisco.
No, this is on Fisherman's Wharf now, near Ripley's. It's right there.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Near Ripley, believe it or not, it's there.
Yes. And so I went in, and I was meeting Tom O'Doul, and he showed me as you go up to where the food is, you pass a case with 3 World Series trophies. Okay. So and then you go up to where the food is, and there is a King Kong size World Series trophy. I've never seen anything like that. I've been dreaming.
Wow.
I mean,
now these are the original World Series trophies are at Lefty O'Doul's?
Well, I don't know if the 3 are. Because I was going to.
No. I think they're replicas. I think that Nancy, that the 4 World Series championships are at the offices over at Jack London Square.
Right, but I mean, like the Giants. They were profiling the Giants World Series.
Oh,
so I mean, I expected that, but I didn't expect to see one Statue of Liberty type King Kong World Series trophy when I went up to the room where the food was being served. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. I had
terrific.
Well, yeah, but I'm thinking I have trophy size envy now.
Okay.
Really? Did you see that picture? I sent it was behind me.
I was amazed. I thought that was some sort of Photoshop thing that you had going.
Oh no, it's huge, and I couldn't believe it. I kept thinking. I've
never heard that expression. I've never heard that directed at me at all. That must be wonderful.
Oh my! It's a sight to see. Oh my!
Yeah, or that one. That for instance.
the three. That's
many others, but I'll include those. You haven't been here in a while. Tell us how you've been. What's going on?
Oh my! Oh, time just flies. I've had some interviews, just mainly answering questions of when I had my book signing. I had a lot of follow-up, nice letters, comments after people received my book.
Nancy, why don't you identify the book again, and we'll talk about that a little bit.
Finley Ball.
Finley Ball.
Finley Ball.
Now, you're some relationship to a guy named Finley who...
No, I just have... yes, I lived it.
Yes.
I lived it.
Now, I want to tell you something, Nancy. Officially, the network, the Comfortably Zoned Network, we are endorsing 5 people for the Hall of Fame, the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
We are endorsing Charles Finley, Charlie O. We are endorsing Marvin Miller, Minnie Minoso, Gil Hodges, and Jerry Feitelberg.
And Carl Finley. Don't forget Charlie/Carl.
Well, let's get one Finley in at a time.
Well, they could go together.
Well, Ralph, let's explain to Nancy how we came up with the idea of beating the drums for Charlie.
Oh, I know. That's self-explanatory. Oh, my gosh.
And the Today's Committee that selected Harold Baines and who else went in? I can't remember.
Lee Smith. Very deserving.
Lee Smith. Yeah, Lee Smith. Yeah, they were on the Today's Committee, and it went from 80 to 93, something like that. And George Steinbrenner was on the list of candidates to be in the Hall of Fame. And as you know, Steinbrenner was convicted as a convicted felon.
What?
And he was
wait a minute.
Yeah, he was convicted.
He really
was? Suspended. Yes, he was suspended by baseball for 2 years, and he couldn't have anything
No, he
to
was
do with
suspended for life, and he came back after.
Really? I did before he owned or during his ownership.
During his ownership.
Oh my.
Don't you remember when he illegally contributed to Nixon's fund?
He did some way back when.
Yeah, I never looked into that. I heard rumors. I've heard rumors everywhere.
Yeah, so he was a convicted felon, and he's in the Hall of Fame. And
no, he did not make it, Ralph. He only got 5 votes. He needed 12 to get in. There were 16 people.
I thought he made it. I'm sorry.
No,
isn't that like what Pete Rose did?
Pete Rose was betting on baseball as the manager of the Reds. He did not bet on baseball as a player, but as the manager. And they had him dead to rights in the Dowda report. And had he apologized for it, he probably would be in the Hall of Fame. You know, said it was a mistake and gone through Gamblers Anonymous and all that stuff. But my feeling was
apologize?
I don't know what he must have. They let him back into baseball.
Hey, Jerry, when you mention 12-step programs, I just must warn our listening audience. Myself, I got duped into something. I, at one time, smoked a lot of marijuana and considered marijuana anonymous. And I ended up at Marathoners Anonymous. It's a 12,000-step program. And I ended running and chasing people for a light, and it was a horrible day. So I hope our listening audience, if you're struggling out there, you're really not struggling. You can't struggle too much. But heed my humorous advice if you would. Jerry, go ahead.
I understand.
Well, anyway, George Steinbrenner was, just as famous as Charlie Finley, but I don't think that Steinbrenner's contributions to baseball were in any way be compared to Charlie Finley's contributions to baseball. And I said, he proposed the DH. He proposed, and Ralph disagreed with me, having night baseball for the World Series, and Ralph said the kids wouldn't watch.
He did do that.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a good idea, Nancy.
Well, this was just for World Series.
Bring in a little revenue, but it stops kids from being able to stay up and see the game.
Ralph, Charlie agreed with you. Later, he said he didn't mean it for all nights. He thought they got carried away. So yeah.
Right. And plus the uniforms. He thought that wearing gray and white was too drab for baseball. And now you see all the different uniforms that they have, and all the revenues that the teams get from the sale of the merchandise. And he had the designated runner. He had so many innovations in baseball.
Well, two things. First of all, Jerry, let me just say, if you're mentioning George Steinbrenner in the same breath as Charlie O. Finley, Charlie O. Finley was at heart a good person. George Steinbrenner is a cretin, was a a horrible human being, very much like Trump. Their similarities are incredible. So let's talk in terms of not only is he convicted, he was a cretin of a human being.
I agree with you. And also, people don't realize that Charlie, in essence, was his own general manager. And
that's why he should be in the Hall of Fame for building up those 5 championship teams in a row, 3 championships.
Let me interject.
5 pennant winners.
Jerry,
I think, being an old-time baseball fan, a lot of what he put in cheapened the game, I must say. I mean, the marketability, selling 14 different uniforms, this, that, and the other thing. If you want to talk in terms of making money, that's cool. But
people have judged us. I have read a lot how we were gauche, or what do you call it? Tacky.
Yeah, gauche. But not so much tacky. You weren't traditionalists, and it bugged me. I adjusted to it. Some of it is cool. You look back, even their uniforms today. I'm an old-time traditionalist, but boy, could that guy build a ball club.
Well,
wow.
Let me tell you. Okay, let me interject this. Charlie, the rumor about Charlie wanting to move from Kansas City, as Jerry and you say, the reason was because Ernie Mill with the KC Star couldn't find anything bad in Charlie's past, so that was the only thing he could think of to say to rouse the fans against him, which wasn't true, but that shows he couldn't find anything. He couldn't find any kind of theft or, embezzlement or cheating or anything like that.
No, we're not against it. Jerry and I both grew up rooting for teams that uprooted for various reasons.
But he didn't
good, bad, or indifferent. We don't come down on him for that or anything else.
But that was
he was ahead of his time. If he didn't change uniforms, somebody else would have, which makes him a pioneer.
Now, has anyone heard of a new book out there on the baseball expansion by Saber?
No.
I shouldn't plug it. I'm not plugging it. Okay. I won't say that again, but it was sent to me. It's just out. There's a piece about us when Charlie buys the team in Kansas City. And the person never read my book because he says the whole time Charlie was agitating to move, which is not true. not true.
No. He worked hard to stay in Kansas City. He built that ballpark, put his own money into it.
I know. And he was a firm believer in, where they say, fool me once, fool me twice, which is why he would not do the same when he moved here with the unfinished front office. So that the Haas family put money into doing that. They were sort of like we were in the beginning. But it was one of those things where, Charlie hurt himself when he would say, I'm looking at some other cities that say they want me, when Kansas City would say we wanted to move. And that hurt because Charlie...
He was his own worst publicity.
Charlie was trying to get the $1 a year like the Chiefs had. That's what he expected. And he kept trying. That's why he would say, I might move. But
you got to pay the rent. You got to pay rent, and you got to pay the bills. And that's what And with the way the salary structures, you go back to the 70s, they were paying players a lot less money than the players could ever dream of now. Can you imagine Charlie having to deal with someone getting a $20 million a year salary?
Well,
and the A's didn't have the TV contracts back then.
Yeah.
They didn't. Most of their revenues came from people coming into the stadium, or in some radio contracts. But they weren't making the kind of money that they are now.
Now with
and if
Charlie,
the owners,
Dad propped Charlie up. That's what I sometimes I think about it, and I think Dad was there always to prop Charlie up because Charlie couldn't live here because of his family back in school and everything else. He could not just come out here and be at the stadium daily.
Sure.
I don't know why some people were so mad about that because that's what Dad and I were doing. We were sort of taking that place. But Dad propped Charlie up, and he would tell Charlie, say no comment. Charlie would go in, and someone would push his button. And I remember Dad would be upset about it. They'd argue. Charlie would say he understood, he won't do it again. Well, that didn't happen. So Charlie would get comfortable with things and then start acting a little cocky. And Dad would have to remind him what they were, what they were doing, their goals, everything else.
I would have loved to be a fly in the wall with those conversations.
Lynn Shapiro was privy to a lot of that. He didn't hear the conversations, but he was there at a lot of that time.
Nancy, is there anything you left out of the book that you were sorry about?
Oh, yes. Well, actually, I left a lot out because there just wasn't room. My publisher said there was only room for 50%. So a lot of from the mid-'70s up to the early '80s had to be left out. So I've been going through and finding things to show. Dad actually was there through the late '80s as a consultant. He retired full-time in '84. But I've been finding a lot of stuff in Dad's things to show that. So there's still my edited version, which I've been told to add when it comes out in paperback.
That's a great idea. That works well for a lot of folks.
Oh, good.
But Nancy and Ralph, if we're going to make a case and beat the drums for Charlie to be in the Hall of Fame, and we could make a case for Carl to be in the Hall of Fame too, we would need all the facts that and things that Charlie did to make a strong case. Just like, I guess, applying for a job. When you do your resume, you got to put all your bullet points down, all the good things he did that baseball has benefit from.
Well, her book should be the primer for that.
You're right.
Yeah, the book, that would be good. Sure.
One problem was titles. Boy, I mean, like, Dad never said, well, we didn't like the title of GM because of Frank Lane. But Charlie got tired of being asked who's your GM, so that's when he barked, I am. But Dad, that was weird. Dad just let reporters decide what title he was. It was strange. A lot of people look back to refer to yearbooks to see who was what, and I always say you can't do that with us. You just can't.
Right.
And Charlie liked it when people were amenable to changing titles, because he might want to change your title. He might change his.
All right.
So
let's take a break for just a second, and Jerry, take a deep breath and tell us about the A's and the winter meetings. What's going on? They seem to have stayed pat. Am I correct?
Yeah, the big signing was the backup catcher by the name of Herman. They have two players that they have to make decisions on, or not making decisions on, as the case may be. Jed Lowry is second base, and I think they're holding out to see what the market is for Jed Lowry. Lowry probably wants a 2-year deal, and he's probably, I would say, he's in the $8 to $10 million range at this point in his career. He's going to be 35 years old next year, so he's got 35 and 36, and then players, when they hit 37, they tend to drop off. But he's had 2 career years in a row. Last year he had over 20 home runs, 99 RBIs, and played very, very well. And, of course, with Jonathan Lucroy, who was the catcher, and I think Lucroy, they paid him $6 million last year. They want to pay him less this year, and they're doing the same thing. They're waiting to see what the market is for Jonathan. And hopefully they'll sign him back. I like the way Lucroy handled the pitching staff, a real veteran presence. But
I thought he might become a Met. There was a potential of that.
There was potential.
The Mets ended up signing Wilson Ramos.
Yeah. Well, Ramos probably better hitter.
Much to the A's advantage, because they need to sign him, as you say.
Yeah, they should. And their rotation is up in the air. Edwin Jackson's a free agent. Mike Fiers wasn't re-signed. They may sign him, and again, they may be waiting to see what the market is on those guys. But Cahill and Anderson are also free agents. They might sign those guys to minor league contracts just in case they can't get the pitching staff back in the starting rotation fixed. They got Mengden. I think Blackburn will be coming back. Triggs will be coming back. So they're counting, but none of those guys are aces. They're maybe a 4th or 5th starter. And so they've got some work to do to see if they can get some pitching. They're not going to be willing to trade any of their up-and-coming stars for pitching. They're not going to give up Chapman. They're not going to give up Olsen. They're not going to give up Semien. In the outfield, they had Nick, I can't think of his last name at the moment, but they had Ramon Laureano at center field, and right field, of course, was Steve Piscotty. Left field, they used a bunch of guys. They used Canna. They used who was the super sub that they had that filled in, played second base, left field. Yeah, Nick Martini. Chad Pinder, Nick Martini. So if you look at their players, Olsen and Chapman are probably around the $600,000 a year level.
Do you think they'll be re-signing Lowry?
Yeah, I think they've got the money to do it. I don't know, but with the A's, you just don't know if they want to spend it.
What are your thoughts about it?
I think they should sign both Lowry and LaCroix.
Oh, that's why I wanted to hear from Gary.
Yeah, they won 97 games with those guys last year, and Lowry was a damn good third hitter. He hit third in the lineup, and he did very, very well for them. Yeah, so.
Well, there's a case to be made that you could, to get this kid coming up, Barreto.
Yeah,
you make
that's
room
right.
for him. Lowry's in 32 32, 33. The
He's
post
34.
PED, 34. Post-PED era could be going downhill a little, coming off his best year.
Might have a little.
Okay.
He might have it left.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about myself in those terms. 72, does podcasts, does he have anything left? And I know people are asking, can he come up with another show, or is this going to be his retirement show?
I think so. Yeah, what do you think,
Should
Jerry?
should they sign him again to another podcast contract? You know he's on the downhill run. It's the same thing as being a player.
Right, you got to remember.
I got these pressures.
Podcasting, there's no sentimentality. Once you hit the
That's
wall,
true.
you're out. You're out.
And it's the same with players sometimes. Ground ball to second base, Lowry over the first.
We brought over
you love hearing it. Over and again. Then you'd have to readjust. Ground ball to second base. Barreto. Was it Lowry? No, it was Barreto. And they don't want to adjust. Fans are stuck in their ways. So, it's just, this is a network that's full of food for thought. That's a better expression, huh?
Yeah, and people can always call in or contact you if they disagree.
Yeah, they could call in, they could write a letter, they could send money, they could send a bill.
Sponsor. Mm-hmm.
And then Tally would say, there's a bill. Did you know you had a bill? I said, no, it's a regular old nose.
This show is good at predicting winners, though, if you look at what Jerry said last year. And I think that if people want to know what's going to happen, they should listen to this show.
That's for sure. That's for sure. All right, guys. This has been fun as usual. Nancy, you're a breath of fresh air.
Thank
you. Keep coming back.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and
hey guys, we got it. When are we going to do lunch again?
You just name it.
Bring Morgan. You bring your lovely woman, and I'll bring my Tally, and we'll arrange it.
Sounds good.
I can see a restaurant on Jack London Square called Finley's with a bigger World Series trophy.
Does it? Does the restaurant you have in mind say Nations on it? And is it on Webster? That's the question. Could be.
Oh,
I'm betting on it.
Give Jerry my email.
I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll give you his. How about that?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah,
and happy holidays to everyone.
Absolutely.
Most important thing, Nancy, is to stay healthy.
Yes, thank you.
Stay healthy.
Thank you. I have to remember that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. And you know what kind of pie are we having for Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever? We're having impeachment pie.
Oh, we haven't been political all day,
You're so funny.
Well, no, I'm a pragmatist. The holiday present we're all going to get is he's just going to stroke out from the pressure. That would end it. That would be nice. Nice and smooth. And then we'll have Pence to worry about, setting the world back 500 years.
Okay.
All right. No more politics for the day. You know why? Because we're out of here.
Okay.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Comfortably Zone Radio Network, A's Baseball, Past, Present, Future. Nancy Finley, Jerry Feitelberg, me, the weak link of it all.
Okay.
From the Comfortably Zone Radio Network.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. See you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye. The proceeding was a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production. Thank you for listening.